All right, let's jump right into this. Welcome to this explainer where we're going to break down something truly epic. We're diving into an ancient text from the Ginza Rabba, but we're going to look at it through a completely modern lens. Because what this ancient story perfectly captures is something you literally deal with every single day, that epic daily battle of defending your authentic self from toxic peer pressure. Think of this as a survival guide for your identity. It was written thousands of years ago, sure, but it is playing out in your school hallways, your group chats, and your social media feeds right now.
So picture this. You're stepping up to a river crossing, you're trying to move forward and, just level up in your life, only to find yourself totally surrounded. But it's not a physical army. It's negative shadows. We're talking about those toxic influences, the doubters, the haters, that heavy pressure to just conform and be like everyone else. And they are demanding that you surrender your values piece by piece just to fit in. What would you say? Would you fold or would you fight back?
Well, in this incredibly vivid ancient story, our hero, the wise and chosen one, arrives at the banks of the Jordan River. The source text actually describes how demons and wicked forces are literally standing around in the markets and squares, just lying in wait. This is a massive, ultimate boss battle standoff. These forces want to steal the hero's identity, drag them down to their level, and pull them back into the dark. They tell the hero, hey, surrender yourself before you go any further so you can turn back and join us. It is the ultimate metaphor for negative peer pressure.
The shadows strike first, and they go right for the top, demanding the hero's head. It's a direct attack on their very identity. But the hero? They immediately shut them down. The text tells us the hero declares their head is protected by a seal, a mark of light that's been there since the beginning, and it absolutely cannot be touched. No way. Think of this seal of light as your unbreakable core of authenticity. It's your inner strength that acts like a total firewall, completely shielding your mind from negativity.
And this brilliantly illustrates what happens next. Denied the head, the shadows don't just give up and go home. They try to dismantle the hero piece by piece. What unfolds is this incredible defense strategy that moves step by step down the human body. It shows us that true resilience requires a full-body defense. We're talking about defending what we consume with our senses, guarding what we put out into the world through our actions, and finally, protecting the physical steps we take on our journey. Let's break down this anatomy of resilience.
Phase 1. Guarding your mind and senses.
So, the toxic forces realize they can't easily take the hero's mind or their core vibe. So, what's the next best way to corrupt someone? You target their inputs, you target their senses, specifically the eyes and the ears. The shadows demand the hero's eyes. In today's terms, this is that pressure to focus on the negative, to doom scroll, to watch things that just drag your spirit down. But the hero defiantly refuses, saying, I will not surrender my eyes, for they are filled with the light of the living. Basically, the hero refuses to let the shadows dictate what they focus on. They're choosing to see only the light, the potential, and the good in the world.
Next up, the shadows try to capture the hero's ears. They demand, give us your ears so you will listen to us and turn back. They want to fill the hero's head with toxic noise, gossip, and doubt. But the hero claps back beautifully, explaining that their hearing is strictly reserved for the truth. They only tune in to the name of the living. It's like putting on mental noise-canceling headphones. It's a masterclass in filtering out the haters and only listening to the voices that actually build you up.
All right, Phase 2. Actions and emotions.
So, the hero's inputs, the eyes and ears, are totally secured. Having failed to corrupt the mind and the senses, the enemy forces completely shift their attack. Now they target how the hero interacts with the outside world, the mouth, the hands, and the heart. The shadows demand the hero's mouth. They want the hero to speak their toxic language, to join in on the negativity and trash talk. But the hero responds by introducing a crucial concept from the text, kushta. The hero declares that their mouth is completely filled with kushta, which translates to absolute truth, righteousness, and authentic action. Because their mouth is filled with truth, it can never be handed over to darkness. It's a massive reminder that your words have power, and you shouldn't waste them on toxic drama.
The standoff just keeps intensifying. The shadows say, surrender your hands so you will fail and return to us. They want the hero to stop doing good, to just give up their efforts. But the hero explains that these hands are already spoken for. The text specifically says these hands are used for charity, kindness, and compassion. These hands are built for lifting others up, not for tearing them down like the shadows do.
Then comes what I think is one of the absolute most powerful moments of this entire explainer. The shadows demand the hero's heart. They want to steal the hero's empathy and replace it with bitterness. But the hero replies, "Since knowledge entered my heart, I promised it would be fair. How could I throw it to you? How could I place it in your hands?" The hero fiercely protects their core, asserting that a heart filled with true knowledge and fairness can never, ever belong to a toxic environment. You absolutely have to guard your heart, because that is where your true power lives.
Which leads us to phase 3, walking the right path.
Completely shut down at the mind, the senses, and the heart, the shadows are seriously running out of options here. So they make their final desperate play for the hero's very foundation, the knees and the legs. They demand the hero's knees. Think about what bending the knee actually means. It means giving up, submitting, caving in. They're essentially saying, come on, just submit to us already. But the hero absolutely refuses to buckle under the pure pressure. They state proudly that their knees will only ever bow to the living light, to what is good, healthy, and true. They will never bow to the shadows.
Finally, they demand the legs. They say, give us your legs so you will stumble and return to our level. They want to stop the hero's momentum dead in its tracks. But the hero firmly plants their feet, declaring that their legs have a singular, unstoppable purpose. They've spent their whole life walking the paths of faith and truth, constantly moving upward, ascending away from the land of darkness and toward the land of light. Literally nothing is going to trip them up now.
And finally, phase 4, the victory of the light.
And just like that, the boss battle is over, a flawless victory. The hero has successfully defended every single part of their being, from the top of their head to the bottom of their feet. They didn't give an inch. Looking back at this timeline, you can really see how brilliant this ancient blueprint is. From the initial ambush at the river, to securing the inputs of the senses, to locking down the heart and hands for kindness, and finally stepping firmly out of the darkness. It's a literal step-by-step manual for how we can systematically defend our own boundaries when we feel surrounded by negativity, haters, or the pressure to be someone we're not.
At the end of this ancient text, the hero cries out in victory, "I have triumphed and brought victory to all lovers of the pure light." The absolutely crucial point here is that this wasn't just a win for the hero alone. By holding their ground, by refusing to let the shadows take even a single piece of their identity, the hero secures a massive victory for everyone. It proves that it is entirely possible to stay true, stay whole, and successfully resist the shadows around you.
So we end with this. This incredibly powerful text from the Ginza Rabba leaves us with a critical challenge. The next time you find yourself at your own river crossing and the shadows of doubt, gossip, or toxic pressure start closing in, which parts of yourself will you refuse to surrender? What boundaries will you set to protect your own light today? Think about it. Keep your seal of light strong, guard your kushta, and keep walking upward. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.